creating a PMS solution for hoteliers. PMS is property management system. And we are organizing this kind of events, design events here in Madrid. This is the second one, so we are organizing it regularly right now. So I'm design experience lead, which means I'm taking care of design ops at Muse. And first of all, I want to thank Celonis to hosting us and help us to organize this event. And I want to invite Raul to tell us more about Celonis.
So hello everyone, I'm Raul. I'm a designer here at Celonis. Very happy to have you all here. And I will just give a brief introduction of what Celonis does. I don't know, like, are you familiar with Celonis? Do you know what we do here in-house, or more or less? Not at all. So very quick. I mean, Celonis does process mining. What is process mining? This is a technology that it extracts data from different platforms or sources. It analyzes and helps like optimize processes for like big enterprises, right? So I mean, I won't extend much, but if you're interested, we can talk later on. We have always like open positions for design, development, PM, everything. So yeah, feel free to reach out or like to talk to me later if you have any other question. Okay, thank you and enjoy.
Thank you. So what is agenda for today? So we will have 2 talks and 1 Q&A. So first we will have a talk from Muse. Sofia and Marina will talk us about value connectors. And then we will have a talk from Antonio from IKEA about power of contextual experimentation. And then we will have Q&A. So we will have during the talks any questions, so you can use Slido, hashtag Design Unleashed, or code Design Unleashed, or you can scan the QR code right now. I will give you a few seconds. And this will be there during the Q&A. And then we will have, of course, networking and some catering Celonis did for us. So without further ado, Sofia and Marina, are you ready?
We are ready.
I will switch to your...
Thank you. And Scooby came all the way from Prague, so... Woo! I know, but it still merits some introduction. So first, thank you for being here. Apologies for my voice. I'm very sick. So I didn't want to apologize for that, but I am woman ambassador for my woman ERG group at Muse. So I have to take pride in the sense of, hey, you know what, being a woman and standing here sick. And also acknowledging the fact that Lina and Diana, the ones from Deutsche Telekom, they were supposed to be here. And one of them was pregnant from 9 months. So unfortunately, her due date got advanced. So also some pride there in terms of women speakers. But today I have the privilege of speaking here with Marina. And like Scooby said, we're gonna talk about the value connector at Muse. So when we were crafting the story for this talk, we really wanted to be sure that we were kind of ingrained in the topic of the event, right? Of being customer first business. And we wanted to be simple. I mean, you know, here I'm drinking my tea, not in an obvious way because I need it, but we really wanted to be very close, our conversation, just some tips that one colleague is giving to another. Yeah, please sit down. So feel free also while we're doing the talk to raise your hand, just comment or ask us any questions, or put it in Slido. So to start off, when you guys have gone to hotels, apartments, hostels, I imagine all of you have gone to places like this. Yes? If not, I would be very surprised and also would want to talk to you. But have you ever imagined like the backstage of that operations? Have you ever thought about it? Have you been curious about it? And if not, maybe take a second right now and think about a great hotel or resort experience you've had, and just think the amount of operations that have gone in the backstage in order to facilitate that experience. So that's the business of Muse, right? When we say customer first business, that business part of Muse, we're talking about that precisely, about being a PMS, the property management system, which, as you can imagine, depends on the property size and a lot of factors, but there's a lot of things going on, right? If you go behind the curtain, you'll see the restaurant point of sale, just in terms of F&B departments, right? The front office operations, the housekeeping. If you've ever gone to an event in a hotel, the amount of operations. I mean, just in Muse ourselves, how many were we in Muse? In MuseCon, it was like 1,000 people, right?
Yeah.
So it was, like 1,000 people in a hotel, plus the event management behind, plus the allocation of it. It was insane. So Muse is that's our business, and I think it's really cool. And in terms of that bit around customers, so what do we mean when we're a customer first business? So Marina and I, we wanted to bring you this, so you got a glimpse also of the things or the variables that we have to work with when we say our customers, right? Because as you can imagine, it's not as simple as, oh yes, our customers, right? We need to take into account the segments. What type of segment is this property at? The location, it's not the same running a hotel or an apartment in the United States than in Europe in terms of compliancy, idiosyncrasy, or even language, right? Property variables, like I said, the size of the property, the experience focus, what are they wanting you to get out of their space, and whether if it's an independent or a chain, right? It changes a lot. Other variable, property staff. At first, when we were at Muse, when you said, hey, what's our customers? A lot of people said, property staff. And you're like, okay, that's great, but what does that mean, you know? When you hear property staff, like a lot of things come in mind. And thankfully, we've been getting to a good detail of it. But as you can imagine, the role set up in a property is not the same, the team structure, how many departments there is. There's some little boutique, family-owned properties that a single person is 5 roles and they're running in Muse. So very different and also very interesting. And also in terms of permission. And of course, guests, because there's a part of our product that touches the guests that go to these properties. So, I mean, just by guest itself, it's a whole universe, right? But we wanted to bring you this picture because probably you guys in your companies, you're dealing also with this kind of variables in your customers. And we would also love how you actually deal with this. So that's our customer. So how are we our customer first business? We wanted to bring you some buzzwords, if I'm not mistaken, is a
Yeah, because the title of the talk was Beyond Buzzwords.
Oh yeah.
So we were saying like, what are the design buzzwords that we use, right? So we put here some.
Mhm.
I like them.
Of course. I mean, we all use them, to be honest, right? But they are really buzzwords, right? Like when we were saying like, okay, really, we're gonna stand in front of these people, like they're gonna be bored just by if we say like streamlined. Sorry, Antonio, if you say streamlined.
Twice.
It's normal. I mean, it's part of the job. But we did want to sort of sit down and say, what are the buzzwords around customer first business? And these are it. We're gonna mention them, we use them, but we did want to say how much of it is actually true, right? Like how much of it is frictionless? Are we really at a good level? How much are we like end to end, right? Sometimes not really. But anyway,
Yeah,
buzzwords.
it's double-sided because we wish we could actually use them, and you know, like we wish we could say like, you know, we're seamless, but sometimes so.
And I mean, also with AI now, with the tools we're using, probably in your day-to-day, how many of you have gotten an answer from a prompt that says streamlined process, you know? the amount of streamline. Sometimes I tell Claude, don't tell me streamline, like don't tell me buzzwords. I'm tired of those. But anyway, customer first business. We're here to give you some hints as to how we're tackling it at Muse, and I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. So when we were thinking all these buzzwords, we were saying like, what is a better way to put it in a more natural way, and like verbs that we actually use. So no streamline, something closer to what we do. And we were thinking, what are all the things that we do at Muse that kind of like try to drive that customer first business, right? And we were thinking, well, we listen a lot. We also try to craft a lot of expertise and gain that, like become experts in the field. And also we try to involve the customers, so that way like we're closer to them and we can understand better. So we're gonna do like 3 parts, one per each, and we're gonna be showing some examples of how we do it at Muse and some tips. So first, the listening. Well, right now, like we have a lot of information from our users from multiple points, right? So here there's a list of some of them, but I'm gonna mention some that might be like not as common, I would say, in this space.
Yeah.
So for example, the second one says all company meet spotlight. Every Friday we have what we call the bush, that is like some sort of a town hall, and then we are the 1,000 people at Muse we're invited. We're always like around like 600 because like holidays, sick people, whatever. And like 1 per month, I think, we invite customers to be there and like being interviewed. So in real life, we have like a conversation with one of the hotels. So they explain to us like what's happening in their hotels, what they have in mind for the next steps, what are the challenges. So the whole company listen to that, and then we can take notes and bring that with us. I think it's super interesting. I don't think like I've ever listened to anything similar in any other company. Of course, we have like our tickets from customer support. Muse has a strong team that are listening. So customer support, customer success, customer onboarding, like many people listening to our customers,
which are not streamlined at all.
Not streamlined, no. We measure and we try to get all the data, of course. We have community forums in the 4th bullet that is basically like our hoteliers. Some of them are accepting that we can come with them and ask questions. So it's a little bit like forocoches, but for the hotels, like we go there and we are like, hello, what would you like to have? And then some of them just answer in live in that thread. So the whole company can go there and like, read what was happening. Of course, it's moderated. Like we have someone, Sarah, that is like helping us and everything. But like what I mean is like, there is a huge common community that is providing us information, and I think it's both ways, right? Like they also want to be there, so in case they can influence somehow the product. Of course, we do qualitative research. We have in-person visits. I did one with the Spaces team. David is there. A couple of weeks ago, we went to the Standard Hotel that is already run by Muse, but also, the TS8, and then to the Standard Hotel that is not run by Muse at the moment, but we were like showing the property, asking questions, thinking about like other type of guests that we don't have shown up at the moment, like the longest stay one. They need different things, right, than a person that just comes to a hotel for 3 days. So we do that, and then surveys, event, and Salesforce. So for listen, what are our tips here? Two cents. Number one, having a lot of unconnected information is better than having none. And what does it mean? As Sophia was saying, like we don't have a streamlined process, and customer support, onboarding managers are listening to the customers. We from design ops are listening. The designers are also doing some research, everything. And even if it can seem chaotic, because it is, it's better to have like everything there, and then at some point part of our job is kind of like tied up the unconnected dots rather than not having any knowledge. So for now we prefer the chaos. We're on the process of organizing everything. The second tip is that the knowledge is already there sometimes, so just look for it. One part that we're trying to be very evangelizers is that it's important that you document and you tag, and it looks time consuming, but then you might be making something very easy for the person that is coming after you. And then personally, like when I'm going to see and to look for any insight and somebody already tagged, I don't know, whatever, like budget and forecasting in Dotel. I'm like,
Yes.
because I already can do many things. And then the last one is that also run a value disconnect diagnosis, because sometimes you might think that you know something, but you don't. So it's always good to, like see how close you are from the reality and be always trying to be in that point of contact.
Yeah, before I go into the second one, I saw that you guys had something similar for the all company that you invite a customer, or did I hear? Yeah. Yes. Yes, you had something. That's awesome. And one thing that, sorry for sneaking into
No, I don't know if you were looking at me or not.
It's like,
So just to make sure. Yes.
I kind of understood that, but it always amazes me that the capacity our CEO, because it's mostly our CEO that's interviewing the customers in front of 1,000 people or 600. The capacity he has for leading like an interview, like an actual interview, right? I noticed that for day one, right? I was like, oh, this guy actually, like, he could be UX research, but
He's a natural.
yeah, he's a natural. But I guess maybe some of you don't have such natural people, or might not. And it's a matter of sort of giving them also tips to how to better approach this. But it really was amazing, and it definitely helps us listen. At some point, I tried to tag all the conversations like in Dovetail that were happening. Of course, then life happened and you cannot get to it. But yeah, it's important to listen, absolutely, and to sort of take all the signs and make sense of it, right? And also, one of the things that we didn't mention is we are from the service design team, and we're only 4 people, right, in a company that is really big. So sometimes it's a matter of being creative, of sort of connecting to his ears and you connect to her ears and so forth, right? Because, like, honestly, you don't have the capacity to be everywhere all the time. So it's also, and we'd love to hear also your thoughts in the network, like how do you actually scale your listening skills, right? Well, we'll get to that. Crafting expertise. So as Marina said, like we take a lot of, like, in order to be customer first, we really do a lot of efforts and sort of, okay, if we're gonna be in this industry, you better know it, right? And like I said, it's not, property staff is not good enough, right? I'm pretty sure you guys would have said the same thing. It's like, what's that? Like, is it even a property also? Like, because if Muse is handling events, is it a property or is it outside? So sometimes it's very blurry. So you need to get very, you need to get very like in expert mode. And yeah, it's here we try to leverage the expertise actually to bridge our distance from the customer, right? And like I said, we do this in a creative way in order to say, okay, how can I be in various places at the same time, but not physically, of course. So sometimes that means you don't do the research, all the research yourself. Sometimes your company buys an external database who's scraped all of booking.com and can get you a list of all the services and amenities various prospects have, right? Because sincerely, you cannot call them or you cannot do in-visit to all of the properties. So sometimes it's about, that's how you get the expertise to you, right? Sometimes we also, of course, do shadowing. We go like Marina with the spaces. You go there, you pass a day with somebody, like you tie yourself up to that role and you shadow them and you learn their stuff, right? Sometimes it's about mergers and acquisitions. Like I said, similar to the external database. Sometimes it's Muse saying, you know what, we need to buy a company like Automize or Cotello in order to gain a better expertise around RMS, so revenue management system, and event management like Cotello. So sometimes that's a strategy, right? And whenever they do that, we also need to plug into that expertise and say, okay, these guys, I'm pretty sure Cotello has some personas out there, right? What have they done? And you get those and you plug those in and you, of course, you format them into the template that actually Marina is now working to sort of standardize persona knowledge or role knowledge. But it's like that. You're always leveraging, right? You're throwing some rope somewhere and you're saying, come to me. Because like I said, I don't know, I sound like I'm very tired and like I want to be here and get everything to me. But sometimes that's just the strategy, right? Like you cannot be, like I said, in various places at once. So our tips are around crafting expertise. I mean, as much as possible, become a real user. For this industry in particular, we're lucky because all of us have been guests, right? And a lot of users have actually worked at properties, right? So I think there's.
It's crazy. Like I would say, I have no idea of the percentage, but
Yeah.
many people are like, oh yeah, you know, I'm a software developer, but I used to be a front agent in my past life, or like even owners
Yeah.
of hotels.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, many surprises there. Even in our team, we have one service designer that he's actually a data analyst that now reconverted into service design, and he used to work in
Yeah.
hotels in Prague. So-
Yeah, when he was like a student, he worked in a front desk, so he got the grills and feel of it, right? So I think that's priceless, right? I think there was like an Excel file rolling around the company. I think there were like 200 plus people that have hospitality industry experience. So you need to leverage on that, right? So I remember that we asked them one time, we tagged them in the Dovetail. I don't know, are you all acquainted with Dovetail? Yeah. We tagged them in Dovetail and we actually said like, hey, Alberto, I know you have been a revenue manager in your past life. Please enter some knowledge about your role or just validate some assumptions we have of them. And that's priceless. That's easy money.
And
you know?
even here we didn't mention, but we have a Muse University.
Yeah.
Many of the courses have been done thanks to this knowledge that people have, like
Yes.
they were creating.
True. I remember, yeah, that's a good one. And also the second tip, again, it's not about being lazy, but being realistic. Sometimes as service designers also, like we want to make a streamlined process out of everything, but sometimes that's not the deal, right? Sometimes your company needs to invest, which is now the reality, in an AI tool, which actually connects to all your knowledge bases and gets them all together from a prompt you enter, right? Because you haven't been able to connect all the departments in the company. So that's good. Like sometimes maybe that would have been your best solution, but it works. For that tool, not the process to bring all the knowledge together, but you actually need an instrumental, some form of orchestrator to actually get that information there. And of course, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the third tip is very familiar, but in order to get to the knowledge, you need to knock on a lot of doors and you need to know that that door exists. So just open doors and knock on people's houses and just ask them if they know something that you don't. And you will be surprised, I guess.
Yes. Well, and the third part, involving the customer. So basically, when we were thinking all of that, we were saying, like, we were actually surprised of all of the things that we get information from. And at some point we were like, we're lucky. And also it was nice that Tonio was about to speak later, because of course, like IKEA sells to direct customers, right? While we are like a more B2B2C, because we sell to the hotels and then the hotels have also point of contacts with their own customers. So it is interesting how we also like bring the people all together. So one of the things we do, for example, is all the beta testing. Here in this room, I've actually partnered up with some designers that they send me like, hey, we're gonna launch this feature. Let's see, like in Newsberry, like how we do this research. Can we maybe like, you know, modify some questions? And you would be surprised like how many people answer. We also have our troubles. Like sometimes, for example, we don't know exactly the title of the person that is answering to the feedback, and that can be like a roadblock, you know, because it's not, maybe they are like, we don't like this feature, and it's like, yeah, but you're a general manager, you're a revenue manager, so, you know, so all these things need to be taken into account. But it's super cool that we have a workflow where we involve our people. We have workshops, as you can see here, actually, like the one in top. Maybe Sofia, you can tell a little bit more. This has been 2 weeks ago with Generator. That is one of our hotels that we work with, and we were there to listen to them, and we were laughing because Muse is being here for like 12 years or 13, I don't know, something like that. And many of the hotels, we used to take care, like, you know, when they trust on us in the very beginning, they were like, we can almost we were comparing it with when you have a kid and you go to the bed and you read books to them, you know, at night. And now we've grown and we're busy parents and we're like, you know what, like now I have 7 kids, please, like I can listen to you but one at a time. So they actually are very super thankful when we do these type of workshops and we go there, we ask them, we want to know like how are they feeling, what are their challenges, how do they envision what's coming. I don't know, like if you want to give any story.
No, I have a good anecdote on the top one because some customer support department, they contacted us and they said, yeah, we need to do a journey workshop. And I was like, okay, yeah, like journey workshop, buzzword, journey workshop. And I was like, okay, but do you know what? Like, I think I didn't ask them. Like they said, we need to do a journey workshop, but I don't know what it is. And I said, okay, you rang the correct door, you know. So let's get to work. So we did a journey workshop, and that's how they actually like sold it or communicated to the customer. So also you need to adapt, right? Because if they sold out, we have a journey workshop. So here we mapped out the entire guest experience that the property. It's a big chain. We were in the London HQ, and basically they needed some pamper time. So based on the metaphor, you know, it was this kid who was lacking some parent love, you know. They needed some time with you. So the overall objective was that, like, to pamper them, to take care of them, to listen them in a more careful way. The journey workshop was the excuse, to be honest, being completely honest here. But it was a great way for them to be involved, right? Because I remember the product managers, they told me, like, it's important that we facilitate discussions on our roadmap and also our existing features, because they're probably saying to customer support that something is not working, but it's possible that they don't have it activated, you know? So they needed to sort of just catch it in the moment. So it was great because we went through it and effectively, like, we opened up the room for discussion, and it was like a good way for the product manager. Oh, like, here's our wonderful feature. Oh, are you doing this? Oh no, I'm not doing that. So it was amazing. And in the end, they were crazy about the journey workshop. Like, they were literally telling me, like, do you do this often? And I was like, oh, we can do it anytime you want. Like, I love it. So they were really happy about it, and I'm pretty sure, like, the same thing happened there in the bottom, right? Because I see some really talented designers there. Sorry?
I think it was about metrics definition.
It was about metrics. Yeah. So, and I mean, sometimes we also have like we didn't put it here, but like the round tables also have occurring locally. So there's a lot of things just to make the customer also, like, involved, of course, but also to let them know that your door is open, right?
Absolutely.
And that
they feel
taken care of. Yes.
And to finish this, we also have Unfold. It's an event that we actually do, and it's for hospitality field. So we invite the clients to see, like, what's gonna be next. So every April, and this year is on the 30th, if I'm not wrong, we kind of like showcase what's gonna be the next new thing that we're bringing, and it's usually like super cool. We show like how the product is gonna look like. We have the time to talk to them in the after work, in the after session. You know, like, they can ask for us. We can have like that contact, understand also from them, like, if we're, you know, spot on, or like if they have other needs. So it's very nice. And this is almost the end. So the tips for involving customers. The best person to involve and contact the customer might not be you. So just like be conscious of it. And this has, like, I would say, like a good part and a bad part. I think the good part is that, like, there's always people that have more knowledge than you, and that they can have, like, for example, the direct contact with the customers. All of these people that we've been talking about, customer support, onboardings, all of these managers, like, they know their clients as the back of their hands, you know. So it's like good to use them as a thermometer of, like, how are they feeling. At the same time, it can be difficult sometimes because they also guard those contacts, and like we need to make a big effort in like making them understand like why we want to know more about our customers, like how to open the door. So like that is a trouble that we are not right now, like contributing to and building those bridges with, for example, customer support. Now we are on an initiative to try to have a feedback loop. So as soon as they spot something, like we can get into and do better. The second tip is, like to have a solid go-to beta tester list, because many of the hotels, you will be surprised how many of them they want to participate. And I think I mentioned it before, like it's also in their own interest because they can craft the product, they can help us saying like what are the features they want to do. So at the very end, like there are some that we are super, they know each other, like we know each other. I think like a couple of days ago, somebody was like, oh, Maurits said that, right? And I'm like, yeah, Maurits, you know, and it's kind of crazy that like you can kind of know them somehow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Maurits is also great because he's super visionary, like he's amazing. And then, and be present in field events because you can learn more about customer appetite. So not just unfold, but like also going to places, like understanding what other competitors are doing, trends, like everything. I feel like it's also super relevant, right? So we're closing.
We're closing. We haven't gone too far, no? Or yes, maybe yes. Sorry. So the challenges we face, we wanted to bring you again, like to be completely honest, like what's keeping us at night, if you know what I mean, like not literally.
To not look like we solve everything because we don't.
Definitely. So challenges, like I said, Muse is scaling like fast. Really fast, like all the time, new people.
We double size like in 1 year, no, or something like
Yeah,
that.
it has been crazy, like just the amount of growth. So if we're having trouble at a big, like small scale, how do we actually scale our listenings, right? So that no customer feels that we aren't taking care of them. Antonio, it says maybe for you, like we need to do this. Like, how might we develop like internal role-playing scenarios that simulate real hospitality experience? I think there used to be a lab, right, in Prague, Scooby, like it has been abandoned, right?
Yeah.
But we tried it, but it didn't work. So what can we do to make it work, right? I mean, who doesn't want to have like a real like scenario of a hospital, like a hotel?
Yeah.
The thing is, right now, and I'm getting into a little bit like detail that is maybe not the context, but the thing is that the traditional desk reception, that's yesterday, right? So what do you mock up, right? Like what do you prototype? Experiences, like it should be easier.
Interactions, yeah.
It should be easier, but we're not doing it. Help us. And
We just have to, right?
oh yeah, I think maybe maybe there was.
No, sorry. Yes, this one.
Yeah, this one. Like, I mean, we do observe and everything. We are doing that based on all the crafting expertise, what we told you, but we need to go beyond, right? We need to get into a place where we actually feel it, right? And we do try it, but I think this challenge is a big one. And also, like, how do we make sure that Muse is prepared to actually like scale what we want to bring to the table, like all of the buzzword design thinking, you know? How do we actually scale it? How do we replicate it? How do we make customer support, who is very far away from design thinking methods, how do we give them something that they could plug and play and do a journey workshop by themselves without me having to fly to London?
Create the framework.
Right? Or
We're on that.
Exactly. Like we need to, even though I love it, I'm pretty sure like we love, like Marina is also like ready to go to London tomorrow if we ask her, but it shouldn't be that way, right? It should be that we give them some capabilities somehow, I don't know the format, so that they could replicate this and also bring that knowledge to us when we ask us.
So if you have answers or ideas, maybe you can give it to us. So we were doing this talk and we were doing the dry run with the school and I'm like, we're gonna be a little bit, we're gonna ask actually for tips.
Yes.
We're gonna give tips, but then ask. So if you have something that could be useful, we will be happy to listen.
Yeah.
And then just the last part, I think like the real tip is have patience because things are difficult to build, especially like in companies that are growing so fast and in companies that have so many, as I said, like information sources coming all of the time. And then just like that customer first business, like requires like effort, a lot of advocacy. I think like this might be maybe like the biggest work that we are doing in service design. That is like explaining, taking the patient to say like why do we do what we do, like putting the framework so people use them, and also making them understand why they need to do it that way and not the other way, or like being open in also like to co-create, you know, and then time. So I would say like this is it, right?
Yeah, I think there's another slide with our like lovely faces. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Marina, was exceptional, and I have a couple of questions for Q&A as well. So please welcome Antonio from IKEA, and he will tell us more about some experimentation. Hopefully.